Welcome to ToK Today. I'm Daniel and I have 5 fast and fruitful thoughts for ToK Essay number 6, November 25. That's the essay about whether empathy is equally important for a historian and a human scientist. Okay, fast and fruitful thought number 1 is to consider the word important in the prescribed title. We might ask, what could empathy be important for? A careful rereading of the question and we see that it doesn't specify what empathy may or may not be important for. Clearly it's up to us to explain what we think empathy may or may not be important for and why. And so we're straight into the purpose and functions of the areas of knowledge. What are the areas of knowledge supposed to do? And what do they actually do? And what role do historians and human scientists have in doing this? You can learn all about the functions and purposes of AOK history and AOK human sciences from the knowledge frameworks of each of those areas of knowledge contained within the ToK study guide from IB. Now I mention this because sometimes students have never heard of the knowledge framework or they don't even know where to find it. And if you're yet to see the IB ToK study guide or the knowledge frameworks within it, then ask your ToK teacher for a copy. Moving on to fast and fruitful thought number 2, let's be empathetic. Or more precisely, let's think about how we define empathy. The definitions of empathy that you use in your essay will be key to the success of your essay. The definition of empathy taken from a dictionary will probably be neither appropriate nor sufficient to do well in this essay. I just checked the definition of empathy in the English Oxford Dictionary, and it's not really a ToK definition of the term. Now, you need to think about empathy in terms of its role in the acquisition, pursuit and production of knowledge. So it's going to be linked to ToK structures like methodology and ToK concepts or processes such as interpretation, justification and perspective. You need to develop ToK-based explanations of empathy rather than just a dictionary definition. Now, did you notice how I've used the plural here? I've said that you will need definitions of the term empathy or explanations of the term empathy. That's because you'll probably develop more than one explanation of the term in your essay depending upon the knowledge arguments that you develop. And if you want more help and suggestions on the various ways in which you can develop ToK-based explanations of empathy, then be sure to pick up the ToK Today student guidance notes for Essay 6 from the ToK Today shop, linked in the video description, or using the QR code on the screen. The notes are highly detailed, over 11,200 words, and they contain knowledge claims, arguments, suggestions for real-life examples, and evaluation points. Now, in the May 2024 session, 72% of students using the ToK Today student guidance notes were awarded a grade A in ToK. Moving on to fast and fruitful thought number 3, it could be useful to think about the aims and purposes of historians and human scientists. It could be argued that the aim or the purpose of a historian or human scientist influences the importance of empathy to their work. Now, this could be a lengthy and detailed explanation, but this is supposed to be a fast and fruitful thoughts video, so I'll shortcut to a summary explanation. Some historians and human scientists are trying to establish objective knowledge of large-scale patterns or trends, and arguably for those historians and human scientists, empathy is less important. They don't really need to understand the knowledge world of their subjects. But on the other hand, some historians and human scientists are trying to understand small groups of people, specific cases, or even individuals. And for them, empathy could be a lot more important. So it doesn't necessarily break that empathy is important in one AOK, but less important in the other AOK. It really depends upon the type of historian or human scientist we're considering and the aims of their particular work. Now, there's a lot more about this in the ToK Today student guidance notes, but I think that this is sufficient for the purposes of this video. Fast but fruitful thought number 4 is about methods. Now, I hope that the centrality of methodology in this question was immediately apparent to you when you read the question. But if not, then this fast but fruitful thought may help you. The question asked us to consider historians and human scientists, and we have to think, well, what designates someone as a historian or a human scientist? And we can assume that it's their role in the production of knowledge. Therefore, we can make a leap to consider the role of empathy in the methods of history and human sciences. Now, here we have a significant difference. History and historians produce knowledge in a very different way to how human scientists produce knowledge. Human scientists usually have some form of direct contact with their subjects. They may interview them or experiment on them or observe them or even live with them. Historians may never directly meet their subjects. They may only know them through secondary documents or evidence and so on. Or are the objects of history, the documents and physical evidence, actually the subjects? History students will know the answer to this. Anyway, suffice to say that these differences may lead to a difference in the role of empathy. Additionally, and most importantly, human scientists generally undertake empirical testing that involves operationalizing, controlling, and manipulating variables. And historians generally don't do that. They don't undertake experimental testing. And all of these methodological differences, and many more, may lead to differences in the importance of empathy. And finally, the last fast but fruitful thought, number 5 for essay number 6, is about conditionality. The essay question specifically asks whether empathy is equally important. Therefore, we must comment upon the degree of importance. We'll be saying it is more important to this knowledge producer than it is to this knowledge producer because of these reasons. And those reasons are the conditions that we're placing on our answer. We'll be saying that importance depends upon things like the purpose for pursuing knowledge, the pre-existing knowledge framework, the perspectives of the ToK within which the historian or the human scientist works, the principles upon which those perspectives are based, the object and subject of the pursuit of knowledge, and so on and so on. And if you want more support writing ToK Essay 6, then we have 3 main ways of helping you. Online ToK coaching can help you to develop your essay whilst retaining academic integrity. Written feedback on your ToK Essay draft gives you detailed suggestions on areas for development. And the ever-popular ToK Today student guidance notes give you examples of knowledge claims, knowledge arguments, evaluation points, and real-world examples that you can adapt for your essay. All of these services and more are available in the ToK Today shop, linked in the video description. Well, I hope that you found these 5 fast and fruitful thoughts useful. If you did, then it would be highly empathetic for you to like this video and to subscribe to the channel. Doing so is free for you, and to be honest, it would make my day. Thank you for watching, and best wishes for your ToK essay writing, and stay ToKtastic, my friends.